Capricorn, welcome to your Moving On reading. I hope you're well. I hope you're fabulous. A note on Moving On. It is a brand new reading type that I'm introducing to the channel. And at this time, I anticipate to rotate it fairly regularly, such as the Celtic Cross, the Intimate Tarot, the Yours and Theirs, that kind of thing. And I'll tell you why. Love energies are so terribly, terribly precious. And thank you all so much for entrusting me with your very intimate and intricate love energies. So much so that they seem to dominate all the reading types, even the ones that are intended for individual energies such as Celtic Cross or the monthly overviews. I understand. People's love energies, they're precious to us. We want to understand what we're doing, what the other person's doing, what our connection's like, and then also to try to make sense of old connections, why things didn't work out. People want to know. They want to know, they want to know, they want to know. I understand. And the fact that you all trust me so much with those energies, that I go in depth with them, and I really try to work them as best as I can. Thank you for that. But we need more focus on the self. So I deliberately devised a board called Moving On. And I don't just mean moving on from love, I mean moving on, moving forward, getting ourselves out of our own stuckness. These are my goals, these are what I intended, and this is where I actually am. Why is that? Am I on the right track? Am I on the wrong track? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? It's an intensive look at the self, and it can get uncomfortable for that reason, and I'll tell you why. This will be the few energy type reads that I have that I say, take what resonates, say what does not, and I'm going to leave out the phrase reverse energies as it applies. There will be no energy reversal to hide behind. No them, no they, no external validation. It's their fault, or it's that person's fault, or my boss is a dick, and that's why I'm so unhappy at work. None of that. That all goes away with Moving On. In which case, some of these readings will be very unpopular with people. We all say we're moving on, we're over it, I'm moving forward. And then as soon as something difficult crops up, it's the other person's fault. Everybody says they're moving on. I'm now putting people in a position to say, prove it. So, if you want the other type, and we're looking for someone to blame things on, this is not going to be a comfortable reading. In which case, no problem, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. No biggie. These are the Moving On reading types. These are going to be for people who want to do the real work and look at some uncomfortable shit. And when I devise any board, like always, I try them out on myself first. And I knew it was a success because I was extremely uncomfortable. So, we all need to take a look at our own shit from time to time. So, moving on and or moving forward. It's not just about love. Anything. Goals. Aspirations, dreams, wishes, wants, desires. Work. Life path stuff, you know? Let's talk about it. First, I'm going to pull you a card from the Moonology and Manifestation Oracle. Show me what will help Capricorn in their effort to move on, move forward, move on, move forward, move on, move forward. Last quarter moon in Aries, work through your feelings. Yes, that's usually a big thing right there when we have work to do. We got to look at the stuff that makes us uncomfortable, that makes us feel uncomfortable, more to the point. Some of you, by the way, might have some very strong Aries in your chart, but work through your feelings in order for you to move on or move forward. What that is, I don't know, but it is going to require effort and looking at uncomfortable things. But again, more to the point, feeling uncomfortable things. We got to work through those feelings, honey. Be they good or they're bad, we have to take ownership of both. All our feelings are real and valid, be they positive or negative. Ultimately, they all help us if we're willing to look at them and to feel them. If you feel ashamed, feel the shame. You feel the joy, then feel the joy. You take ownership of both, okay? And that's usually the first indication that someone is really willing to move on, is when they examine themselves and their feelings. This is what I experienced. This is how I played into it. This is where I went wrong. This is what I'm doing right, by the way. All that stuff. We can't just sit there and confirm our positives. We have to look at our negatives too. Show me. Capricorn, moving on or moving forward, moving on and moving forward, moving on and moving forward, Capricorn. Moving on or moving forward, please? Death. First step. First step. How to begin. How to begin. First steps begin with you. Understand and accept totally that something is over or something needs to be transformed. I won't know upon clarification. Feelings that need to be confronted. The shit you've been trying to avoid. The moon. You might have some very strong water in your chart, particularly Pisces and Scorpio. But yeah, the moon. Feelings we need to confront. Everything that you've been trying to avoid. Okay? Big, uncomfortable, nasty feelings. All right. Influencing energies. Queen of Wands. You have passion in you. You have sense of direction in you. You have ambition and drive in you. Wanting to move forward is already there. It is. Your sense of drive is there, and it does want to move on. Will you allow it? Will you get in touch with all the uncomfortable stuff? The energy, Queen and King of Wands, man, they like to go. They're trailblazers. They're the ones who say, I know what I'm doing. I gotta go. It's already within you. To really access it, we're gonna have to acknowledge some stuff. Okay. Four of Wands, qualities that give you strength, relationship energy, that sense of solidity, okay, of having support or a teammate, someone in your corner. This gives you strength, all right? That's beautiful. I don't know if you're already in a relationship or if that's just your goal, but the idea of achieving same page energy with somebody gives you strength, all right? A support system, a teammate. The Magician, critical lessons you need to learn, how to properly manifest. If you're going to pull something towards you, you need to know that you're pulling it and that you're ready to want it as well as accept it. Because wanting is easy, acceptance is much harder. People want all the time. We manifest all the time. And then when the universe tries to give it to us, guess what we do? I didn't want that. Lessons about manifestation are in here. You need to know what you want. That way the universe can deliver it unto you, okay? The Emperor, future pathway, stepping into your power. That's good. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 majors. 4 majors on the board today. Future pathway, stepping into your power as Emperor. Being really claiming. Went from acceptance to empowerment. Let's get cracking. Show me death, please. Show me death. First steps and moving on. Accept an ending or be willing to transform. In other words, make change. First steps to moving on, how to begin. First steps is death. Show me death. Show me death. Show me death. Show me death, please. Show me death, please. King of Wands. Page of Cups. Queen of Wands. Okay. Okay, I got a power couple here, and I'm not doing them and they, so let's take that off the board right now. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in the past. I'm not interested in what went down. I just know that it ended. Okay? You know this too. That doesn't make you happy about it. I'm not going into why. I don't care. Let's get that clear right now. You can put in the comments if you want. I don't care. The point is acceptance. That's step 1. We're being firm today. Moving on is real business, and it requires work of the self. I have a matching suite, King and Queen of Wands. Ooh, what a fiery, good-looking couple. Passionate, crazy about each other. A little bit of heart space in between with that Page of Cups. Someone tried to keep the heart open towards this, and for someone else it was likely just passion. I don't know. It looks like it was shared. But if the heart wasn't expressed, then the heart wasn't expressed. The matching energies was phenomenal. Like I said, you were crazy about each other. The passion was through the roof for the both of you. But it either would not transform out of passion into something more substantial, or it's just over. Step 1, acceptance. It looks like for some of you this was fairly fresh. And even if it was old, you've had a hard time accepting that ending. Likely because the energies were so matching. And it's hard to accept something like this Could be over. Poof, like that. The feelings we need to confront under your moon. That which you have kept hidden. It's uncomfortable. I know. You have that level of matching intensity. It's really hard for something like that to die, to let go of it. There's a little bit of heart space there, likely between you two, but I have the strong feeling that somebody's heart space showed up in the other person. Their heart space did not. It was likely just passion. Like I said, in which case that's the case of the transformation standing. If it wouldn't transform beyond passion, there you go. It still ended the same way. Show me the moon, please. The feelings we need to confront in order to move on. The feelings we need to confront in order to move on. The feelings we need to confront in order to move on. For Capricorn, please. The feelings we need to confront, please. Eight of Cups, the Fool, the Sun. I believe you feel foolish. Your heart was in it, someone else's wasn't. And that's really a bitter pill to swallow. This is what you need to confront yourself on. Your heart space, your spiritual energy sang for this. It felt like the warmth of the sun. It made you feel alive, and yet somebody remained emotionally unavailable. It's hard. It makes no fucking sense, right? King, Queen of Wands. That is the it couple, eh? And frequencies, yes. Said. Passionate. Somebody showed up with their heart, the other person didn't. It wouldn't transform. Somebody's heart would not make itself available, but their passion was. Ipso facto, somebody was left hanging in the old heart department. Even while the energies for passion were the same, the heart space wasn't. And I believe it's you, Capricorn, for feeling foolish. You feel foolish. And that's the hard thing. I can't believe I exposed myself in this way to this person. I took a chance on them. I took a risk on them. They made me feel really happy. Did they not know that? Did they not give a fuck? I don't know. I'm not looking at them or they. I'm looking at you. Were you wrong to open up your heart towards this person? No. How else could you have known they weren't for you unless you tried? You two matched passionately. I know, the attraction was crazy. I know. But I believe it was you that actually showed up with even a little bit of heart space, and someone left you hanging. They wouldn't join in that space, and you feel foolish, so you kick your own ass. That means you were the brave one, honey, not the weak one. You get that? Why are you showing me shame? Why are you showing me shame for showing up with your heart? You showed up because it felt right to you. It didn't to them. You can't control them. You can't. You don't know what someone else's response is going to be. All you can do is be so bold and brave as to represent yourself to the best of your abilities. And if you take shame from that, that's wrong. I can't believe I was foolish. You weren't foolish, honey. You weren't foolish. You genuinely felt warm towards this person. You genuinely felt sun towards this person. I felt like somebody was tripping in just to have a good time. And that's why you feel foolish. Somebody here feels foolish, but I'm defaulting to you. Again, it's your reading. And I think somebody else knew they were emotionally unavailable. I think you knew that to some extent, but you didn't quite want to acknowledge it, and that's another reason why you feel foolish. And if you must feel shame, then that would make sense. If you knew somebody was emotionally unavailable and they were just there to fool around. Fiery, though. Very passionate, the both of you. But if you knew somebody was emotionally unavailable, that would explain why you feel foolish, and that's why you don't want to talk about it. Right? I knew it. I knew it. Somebody in some small way exposed their heart. And then, I believe it was you, kicking yourself in your own ass ever since. It might have started out as attraction, honey, and you two might have just agreed to keep it at that, but the heart space grows. It grows of its own accord. We can't control that. You can either own it and face the consequences of that exposure, or you can deny it and be a miserable, always wanting SOB that never really speaks to their feelings. I think you chose to expose your heart, and then you felt really foolish for it. Like a Capricorn, I told you I wasn't emotionally available, like you knew that. I think that's where some of the shame comes from, and that's the feelings you need to confront. You tell me, what was brave? What was foolish? You might have called it foolish, I call it brave. Your heart is your heart. And it would have been weaker for you, much weaker for anyone, to say they have a heart space for someone and then never own it. That makes you weak. It suggests you're afraid. It suggests you can't handle the consequences. It suggests you don't know how to declare yourself or go after what you want. That's weakness. That's what I see all the time. I see it all the time, and you probably do too, just going out in everyday life, right? You can hear it if you pay attention, if you listen closely enough, you can hear it for yourself, you can see it for yourself. I know you know what I'm talking about. You're very observant. It's one of your superpowers, is observation. You go out somewhere in a public, getting a coffee, going out somewhere to eat, and you hear these conversations. I hear them all the time. I have excellent hearing skills, by the way. I'm not even trying to eavesdrop. I have very sensitive hearing. I have auditory memory that's phenomenal. I don't remember people's faces, but I remember their voices. And I will hear conversations all the time where it's two people, and you know they're getting to know each other in that way. Somebody's clearly engaged, and the other person's clearly disconnected. But they both try out of a mutual interest, and it's usually attraction, curiosity. And you can hear how one person's being so brave as to interject feelings and speak to greater things in life, and the other person's like, yeah, totally, yeah, me too, totally. And you can tell they're just not as engaged as the other person. And that's kind of what this is, but on a much larger scale. So, were you foolish? In your heart, you might have been. In reality, you were actually quite brave. Even if you knew they were emotionally unavailable, the thing is, honey, your heart space grew, whether you wanted it to or not. And there is emotional rejection here, and it makes you feel bad. This is the energy, the feeling you need to confront in order to move on. Okay? Absorb it, accept it. You were not foolish, you were brave. You spoke to your heart, and that's more than what most people do. Okay? You could have suppressed it. Even if you two had a little, I feel like there's a little agreement in here. Even if you two had a little agreement to just keep it at the fire, just explore it, see where it goes, no commitment, no labels, blah, 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 yankety yank, blah, blah, blah. That's how that shit always starts out. Okay, especially if someone's really attracted and genuinely open to the other person, but the other person's only attracted and they're not emotionally open. Somewhere those two end up agreeing because one really wants to try to make something happen. The other person just wants to engage, but in a superficial way. So they try to meet over passion. And the other person thinks they're playing it safe by not being emotionally involved. The other person thinks I can get the other person to eventually be emotionally involved if I hang in there long enough. And I feel like that's what happened here. But when your feelings grew, transformation did not take effect on the other party's side. Okay. I said I wouldn't do past, but I wanted to explain this to you because I hate that you feel so sensitive about it. You know, I don't know. Just being a triple Scorpio, once I say these are what my feelings are, I just have that advantage. I don't feel ashamed. I just know that they're true. How the other person receives it or doesn't, that's not on me, that's on them. And I want that for you. That's why I'm taking the extra time to explain this. I want that for you. Claim your feelings, that you were so brave. Okay? The other person didn't reciprocate, and that's going to free you. It essentially should free you into moving forward. The only reason you haven't is because there's shame in it and embarrassment. I want you to be that Capricorn that said, yeah, you know what? I said that shit. It was real, and it was authentic, and I have nothing to be ashamed of. How we started is how we started. Okay? My feelings deepened, and I owned it. Good. You could have kept stringing out in the same energy and still have gotten you nowhere, or just inevitably delayed the ending. You know? Queen of Wands, that passion within you still exists. It influences you now. You know? Show me that Queen of Wands, please. Show me that Queen of Wands. Show me that Queen of Wands. Show me that Queen of Wands, please. Knight of Wands, the Ten of Cups. Interesting, Page of Wands. There you go. That's the spirit, honey. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. You have a lot of driving force in you. You might have some damn strong fire in your chart. But you still have a forward momentum of, I really do believe that a relationship can be comprehensive. I do believe it can be emotionally sustaining as well as passion orientation. I believe you because you believe it. And you want to open yourself up towards that direction, Page of Wands. So you had Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands. No shit. You both had that intensity towards each other. The attraction between you two was unreal. Why am I telling you? You were there. And that's if you identify with this. But you also believe that that attraction should exist simultaneously within an emotional safety construct. I also agree with you. I don't think you can have, well, not for me, as far as I'm concerned, you can't have one without the other. No one's getting my fiery, passionate anything if my heart's not tied to it. And if their heart's not tied to it, lid on the honeypot, ain't nothing happening. It's not going to happen. Like, I understand, like I believe you do, that your fire self, your intimate self is sacred to you. You know, you don't just want to put that on anybody. You could have that with anybody. You don't need a relationship to express your fire. If you wanted to, no. You could go downtown any day of the week and get your needs satisfied if that's all you're looking for. You're saying you want it all. You want the emotional safety of a secure, balanced relationship, and also, P.S., a strong attraction. I agree with you. And this influences you positively, and you are still keeping your energy open towards that. And I want you to get into that place where those concepts do not apply to this person. You got half of it right. The attraction was crazy. The emotional piece wasn't. So I'm glad to see your operating principles for what constitutes in your Capricorn mind a healthy relationship is still with you, it's still intact, and it still influences you. And you are still showing me optimism to open up in that direction. And I want to see you actually do it as well. And you're also telling me the strengths, your quality of strengths is that you generally believe in a solid relationship. You do. You've told me that not once but twice. Just not with this person. Like I said, we got half of it right. Actually, for you, your emotions showed up too, even though you knew, but didn't want to know, but you knew that they were emotionally unavailable. You knew that. I know. I know. So you accepting this, okay, is going to be critical to you moving on into the relationship that you actually want. For once, it gives you strength to know that there could be such a thing as true relationship energy. Okay. Teammate energy. Supportive energy. You and I are on the same place at the same time. We're on the same page. We're constructing the same walls together. The four walls is the sanctity of that walls of a particular relationship that develops. So it doesn't have to be commitment, but it does say you and I stand up for each other. Okay? Four of Wands. So at Four of Wands, please. A Ten of Wands, but it's so damn hard and it feels like you've been waiting forever. Three of Wands. The Hermit, and you're telling yourself to be patient. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, it's not mine today, but it's going to be in future. Now, if the Capricorn I'm looking at, you say you've been waiting a long time for this so-called magic, perfect relationship to come together, but you haven't lost your resolve for it. You haven't. It's like every time, you know, you've exited a relationship that didn't work out, it's like you kind of go back to square one. Okay, let's look at the relationship. What went wrong? Where? Why? Etc. This one's hitting you pretty hard compared to other past experiences. I think it's because you so strongly desired this person and your heart did show up for it, even if it was rejected. Okay? That aside, you still truly, genuinely believe in the power of healthy relationships. You also strongly believe that it should feel a certain way. Not just look a certain way, but it should feel a certain way. And every time you learn something new about a relationship, you take it back to the drawing board and say, okay, what parts of this worked and what parts of this didn't work? And it feels like it's taken forever to achieve the real thing. But at the pace you're going and at the way that you really believe in what relationships should feel like for two people, there's no reason why you can't have this. But for some reason, this most current one is serving as a very valuable, critical lesson to you. And I think we tried to really create love where someone was not available to create love because you saw them as an ideal partner. And there's something to be learned in that. But for the most part, I want you to take your sense of feeling out of this, out of the shame zone, feeling embarrassed about it. Part of you knew they were emotionally unavailable. But I'd rather you know and have this end so you can move towards your goals than to linger in it and play along like everything's cool. Because it's not. Too many people get caught up in that. I can be cool with this. I can be cool with this. And the next thing you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years have gone by in your life and things are not cool. It's not what you want at all. You know? And now feels like you're stuck in something that you don't know how to change. And it's not what you wanted or intended. So I'd rather you have spoken your truth, gotten rejected, than to keep playing along. You're not trying to play house. You're trying to live house. All right? The Magician, please. Critical lessons you need to learn. What are you pulling in, my friend? The Magician's powerful energy. Do you know what you're pulling in? Show me that Magician, please. Show me that Magician, please. Show me that Magician, please. The Magician for the Magician. Do you know what you're pulling in? Huh? 4 of Cups, the World. Yeah, I would take an assessment to that. That's a lesson you need to learn. That's a good one, too. For moving on, yeah, that's a great lesson. I have to agree with this. Not trying to be an asshole, honey. Like I said, the focus is on you, and that means looking at our foibles and our eccentricities and the mistakes we make, and that's what I'm saying. That's a damn good lesson. What are you manifesting? Because it seems like time and again you're pulled into disappointment where things have to end. Exactly. I like your enthusiasm for what relationships should feel like. But why do we keep pulling in stuff that ultimately disappoints us and seems like it's inevitable that it has to end? Why? What are you manifesting? Are you manifesting attraction first and just hope it works out? Are you manifesting attraction first and hope emotions will come into play later? Because that seems to be the emphasis. You say you want an emotional, safe relationship, but your fire pops forward very strongly. So is it that thing where I want to be attracted first and I hope love falls into place? Because there's something here about I'm always disappointed despite my best manifestation efforts and everything always ends. Why is that? Okay. Are you putting your attraction out there first, forward, for everybody to see? That display, that confidence, that bravado? Okay. The sex appeal? Or you're putting your heart forward first? Which parts of you are coming forward first when you connect with people? That's something to think about. Are you always in that position where you strongly try to pursue someone that you are very much attracted to, but they've told you repeatedly they're emotionally unavailable and you were just kind of hoping secretly on the low key that things would work out? What are you attracting? This is a lesson we need to learn. Are you attracting from your heart or are you attracting from your fire? Now, don't get me wrong. Passion, that's a real thing. People want that in their love lives, you bet. Absolutely. But if we manifest from a place of passion, you're going to get someone who speaks to passion only. Sometimes, yeah. If you manifest from the heart, you'll get someone who speaks from the heart. You have to know that you want love first, above attraction. Or something that looks cool or fun or interesting or intriguing. Fire elements are very important, absolutely. But if you really want the long term, the way you say you do, and that you want emotional stability, the way you do, attract from the heart, okay? Not the intrigue, not the sexiness, not the drama, not the fierceness, but from your heart. This is the lesson we need to learn. Why do I always end up being disappointed despite my best efforts? I think you have a strong tendency, the Capricorn I'm looking at, to be attracted first and you hope love falls into place second. That's why. It's not a punishment and it's not a judgment. That's just what I'm seeing today. That's it. You know? And I know a lot of people are like that. It's really kind of gone out of fashion, but for a while, yeah. That's how it always seemed to be, not too long ago. In the 80s and 90s, it's like, oh, I have to be attracted to someone first, and maybe love will come from that. Well, as society becomes more cognizant about how we attract each other, we seem to find more and more that when you manifest from love, you tend to get the love you need. But if you manifest from attraction, well, you're going to pull in someone attractive who's equally attractive to you, and you them, and etc. But that doesn't necessarily guarantee that the heart's going to show up for it. Okay? Yeah, that's it. Know what you're specifically, where are you manifesting from? From a relationship, from emotional stability, or I really want to be turned on and excited first. Because when you get that, goodness knows what's going to show up, honey. Somebody can be passionate and sexually active, but that doesn't mean the heart's available, as we've learned. Okay? That's it. That's it. You know, I respect fire a great deal, and someone who is heavily fire-oriented, such as Aries, Leo, Sag, they're going to put that fire out there first. And that's their element. That's what they do. Someone who can keep up with their fire is more likely to win their heart, but that's not you. Okay? You say you want love. Pull from love. All right? The Emperor, your future pathway, stepping into your power, sense of self-empowerment. I know what I'm doing. Okay? I know what I'm doing. Show me that Emperor, please. Show me that Emperor, please. Step 1, acceptance. Step 2, we opened ourselves up, knowing the other person wasn't available. That's not why you should feel ashamed. At the end of the day, I still give you full points for exposing yourself, even if it felt like it was stupid or ridiculous. At least you were honest, you know? But what you want was not to be found with this person. What you want is beautiful. It's beautiful. You're saying it keeps ending up the same way. 3 of Cups, Ace of Swords, 9 of Wands. Oh, okay. Okay. As we were discussing. Connecting more from the heart. Connecting more from the heart and cutting out old patterns. Good job. That's what we were talking about. I think you see it. I mean, you see it, don't you? As if you resonate. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The Emperor's going to stand into his power and take charge and start connecting from an emotional heart space, even if it's in the smallest of ways. 3 cups, celebration, rejoicing, socializing, but socializing from the heart. Because you want to, not because you're turned on. Because you genuinely want to form a social, emotional connection. Okay? And I see you taking that Ace of Swords and cutting out your patterns. The 9 of Wands is called my insanity card. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. He's a wounded warrior and has sympathy, but my sympathy for him is limited. If he'd stop doing the same thing, he'd stop being so damn wounded. This is where we create blockage. This is where we get in our own way by doing the same thing and exhausting ourselves, expecting different results. Your lessons needing to be learned are quite straightforward. Cutting out our own self-imposed blockages that impede our own progress. Cutting it out. Go away. Bye. Understanding it, what we're connecting to and why, and where are we connecting from, here or down there. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're out for a good time, you're out for a good time. Just be aware that that's what you want and that's all that you want. The Capricorn I'm saying says, looking at says I want it all, but I'm continuously disappointed no matter how hard I've manifested. I know what I want in a relationship, yes. But your start point seems to be attraction first, and I hope love falls into place second. And for some reason, while that might work for some, it's not working for you. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. Does it happen for other people? Yeah. But mostly, when somebody says they want a relationship, they attract from the heart first. And the attraction is built through love, not through face value. There you go. These are some really simple mechanics here today, actually. So I appreciate this. This is really good. This is very simple moving on concepts. I like this a lot. I think these are very easily understood. It's within grasp to understand it and to act upon it, which is exactly what you're showing me in lessons learned. Good job. I know this was rough, but absorb it as a lesson. These are the feelings you need to confront. You were hoping to get more out of this once the attraction was established. You knew it was a no-go. But again, you were still brave. Okay? So I know it seems like you were being foolish and you set yourself up for failure in a way you might have done. Especially if you knew they weren't available like that. Nevertheless, you took your shot. It's just towards the wrong person. I couldn't tell you why some people start out with that level of fire and then their feelings develop, but it's rare. It doesn't happen often. It's not just you. But take charge, step into your power as Emperor, and start connecting from the heart space. 3 Cups, as simple and as celebratory as it is, as easy as it is, it still says I'm socially engaging from the heart. I'm showing up and connecting with you because I want to, because it feels right. Attraction aside, I want to be here in the smallest of ways, in the simplest of ways. And I'm going to cut out this thing in me that gets in my own way of defeating patterns. Okay? Of doing the same thing over and over again. I think you cottoned on to that, honey. That's what I think. Okay. Do I see you connecting on a more emotional level in future? Yes. When? I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know. I'm not doing time checks today. We're just going to keep it open-ended. Your progress is your progress is your progress. I'm not interested in time checks. Moving on, moving forward. These are difficult concepts and people take longer than others. That's why I'm not doing time checks. I don't want the pressure of time on here. It happens when it happens. Your future pathways suggest you step in your power. You cut out the old bullshit of the repetitive patterns. It's not toxic, otherwise I'd see the devil. But it's enough that it puts you off in terms of being discouraged from relationships, despite the fact that you actually want one, and powerfully so. All right, but you have to know what you're attracting. You attract somebody over and over again who is emotionally unavailable or unhappy. Those are the results you're going to continue to get, and it's going to continue to cycle out because it's not what you're looking for. So we got to stop attracting that. All right? There you go. And then start attracting this. Very simple. In fact, I want to say it was Scorpio's last reading. I said congratulations because you're just doing this over the Ace of Cups several times. They wanted new love, and they were backing it up by socially getting themselves out there, even in the smallest of ways. And that's all it starts with. Just so long as you are connecting, make sure it's coming from the heart. If you want a heart-based relationship, you have to attract from the heart. And when you connect with someone in the right way, the attraction flows the way it's supposed to. That's it. Okay? And then we know it's attraction of the heart, and not just say physical appearance. There you go. It's really basic stuff. Really basic. Okay. Oh, you know what? So I might call your message. That's a good summary. Attract from the heart, not the loins. And don't get me wrong, honey. What was it? What was it? What was it? Good old-fashioned movie. Love this one. Saw it so many times. Oh my God, I have the movie practically. The Witches of Eastwick. And one of the characters there, she's religious, uptight, moral code, hyper sense of responsibility and social normatives, that kind of thing. And she's starting to lose her mind. But she says the clearest thing by far in that movie, the most honest thing I've ever heard in my life. She's uptight, old school, and she goes, I have nothing against a good fuck. And I just went to pieces, and it still makes me go to pieces. Because it's true. I have nothing against a good fuck. If that's all you're looking for. But it's not all that you're looking for. It initially draws you in, but that doesn't mean it can sustain. So if you are truly manifesting from the heart, and you connect with somebody who is likewise available in the heart space, the attraction comes after, not on the upfront. It's through that connecting. Hey, you and I are very similar in this way. I like socializing with you and meeting you and seeing you. And then attraction comes from that, you know. It's not like, holy shit, look at them, they just walked in the room, they're a 10, I'm going to go after that. You know. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. You can't discover someone's heart by their face, you know? To discover someone's heart, you got to discover the heart. I say all the time, attraction is easy. Attraction's easy. Attraction is easy. It's nice, it's beautiful, it's pleasant, and it makes us feel good, but it's easy. You can't see someone's heart on their face as much as you try, as much as you might try. Rebirth, yes, winter for some of you. Some of this critical energy might have gone down last winter, and for some of you, upcoming winter might be important. But yes, the time of transformation, of rebirth. Higher self, you need to activate your higher self. I agree. You already actually have a very strong idea of what that is. Listen to your third eye, your intuition. The clarity is needed within there. Many of you already know what I'm speaking to and understand that it's true. The seeds are being planted now as we speak in spring. In the Emperor, Aries energy, that's a very strong idea. For some of you, this process has started officially in spring, where you're learning to attract more from the heart and not, well, just attraction. Okay? Okay, very good. You said this spring was going to be different. You're going to get more involved with your own self-care. That way you can get your energy back. Cycles, the completion of cycles. Okay, with the feminine. Yeah, they must have been very attractive. They must have been very attractive. They must have been very attractive. I don't think they were the divine feminine, but they were a very beautiful person, be they male or female. For some of you, it was the feminine energy that you had to close the cycle out on, and that person is fucking gorgeous, right? But that doesn't mean their heart was. So, there you go. And for others of you, you are the feminine that you had to intentionally close out this cycle, that you knew better intuitively. The moon represents intuition. It just, we can't hear it because we cover it up in delusions and illusions. This is what I want to hear. This is what I don't want to hear. And in that process, you might have been the feminine that lost sense of your intuition, that you knew you'd have to close this out. You know? Celebration, gifts, abundance, that's more of that 3 cups energy. Absolutely. And action, yes. New beginnings, hell yes. This is the time to do it. This is the time to do it, as we have very strong Jupiter influence at the moment. But yes, it's a time for action, courage, and new beginnings. I agree. Excuse me. And that sense of new beginnings should be treated as a gift. You want to plant those new seeds? You want to move forward? Prove it. Learn what you need to learn. Don't repeat this. You'll be fine. It's people who say they want change and then they make sure they go out of their way to resist it. Those are the most problematic. And those are the people who are most likely to scream from the mountain, I've moved on, I've moved on. And I'm over there at the base of the mountain going, prove it, bitch. Get off the mountain. Oh, you haven't. You're not as prepared to move on as you think. See what I'm saying? I'm down here at the base of the mountain. I can move wherever I want. You're still stuck up there freezing your ass off, cold and lonely. Preaching that you've moved on. No, you haven't. See what I'm saying? Let me tell you. It's looking like you are actually in that position to move forward. And better for wear, not worse for wear, which is good. This was a pretty good, straightforward lesson. Oh, heck, we got some time. Why not? Let's do some Infinity Oracle, yeah? Okay. Stuck. Twin flame, I personally don't believe in twin flame. I really wish that was a phrase that would go away, but it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Frankly, it's a bunch of overly elaborate bullshit to justify the runner-chaser dynamic. So let's just call it runner-chaser. We were stuck in a run-chase dynamic for a long time with this person. Attraction, yes. Chasing the heart, yeah. And they ran from it. They weren't in a position, and it's not about they, baby. It's about you. You knew. Intuitively you knew, but did not want to accept this person was emotionally unavailable, but the chemistry was off the charts, right? I know. I know. So we were stuck in that runner-chaser dynamic for a long time. No, that's not to be an insult to anyone who believes in twin flame. I believe in soul bonds, and that's already complicated enough. And I also believe in the lovers, lessons learned, spiritual achievements, that kind of thing. Twin flames, not so much. That's for people who really don't want to let go. So they call it twin flames to justify the crazy. Not interested. I'm sorry. I've lived too much real life, and I'm realistic. Patience. You need patience for yourself. Patience and understanding what this dynamic is. Have you engaged in it before, and how can you avoid it? Because it's looking like the Capricorn, you've been through this particular shit rodeo a couple of times. We don't want to do it anymore. Your energy is so beautiful, beautifully oriented to what you understand healthy relationships is. It's time to live it. And attract from the right place. Attract from the right principle, yes? Okay. Busy and distracted is in reverse. We stopped distracting ourselves from the truth and we started to absorb the truth. Okay? All right. Anything else in here, please, that might be helpful to Capricorn? It has some family concerns. Last winter, mirroring, hot and cold. That's what I'm talking about. What the odds are? Okay. Rewind that shit. Hot and cold, self-sabotage runner. We knew this was self-sabotaging, man. We knew it. But the attraction was so strong, right? There's that hot and cold. Next thing you know, you're in and you're out, and you're up and you're down. Yeah, the runner. They were hot and cold. I get it. Mixed signals. I'm going to point this out to the day I die. Mixed signals we know. And it's easy to confuse those. When you have a very strong chemistry or sexual-based relationship, at some point you're going to be like, is my heart in this? Because I'm feeling things. If that's true, they must be too, right? So I'm gonna run that down till they tell me their feelings. It didn't happen. When somebody says they're just looking for fun, they're not looking for anything serious, or they're not available, take them at their word. And you playing along hoping that they'll change their mind or they'll change their heart no. If anything, it just doubles down on the behavior. I promise you, it's reverse psychology at its fucking finest. That's how, the more you try to demonstrate your value to someone, the more likely they are to not see it. Okay? If they couldn't get to know your value through a heart-to-heart connection, they're not going to do it through their vagina or their dick. Get me? Are we square? We on the same page, Cappy? I'm glad I can talk to you like this. I have other signs that'd be like, oh, God, what did she just say? We got some sensitive folks. Thankfully, you're made of tougher stuff. Thank God. I need a break, honey. Some signs are just way too fucking sensitive. And it's like, God forbid I use real language. Oh, scandal. It's in the South, honey. Okay. Family concerns, I might have been, you know what? You knew last winter. Last winter keeps coming up. November, December, January, maybe February, somewhere around there, you started to think, they're not mirroring me in the goals regarding family or long-term vision. Yeah. I know. Okay. That was interesting. Meaningful coincidences. I don't know why that caught my attention, but it did. Perhaps some of you had a lot of meaningful coincidences. There are no coincidences, but they are indeed all meaningful. Things that kept telling you over and over again, hey, Capricorn, take a look at this, that kind of thing. Okay, I think that's enough. No charms, no timelines, nothing like that. I don't know what the next round of reading types will be. It's either going to be the in-depth version of yours and theirs. I haven't done that one in a while, or the intimate tarot, as there has been such a demand to increase that particular frequency. To increase that particular reading type. I get it. I love it, though. I do. And I'm glad people are taking to intimate tarot. That's really cool. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, but it's going to be one of those two. I don't know which one yet, but you will in approximately 2 weeks from today. So put in the comments as you see fit. Good luck to you. Continue to plant those seeds. Manifest from your heart, right? Not the loins. You'll be okay. You have really good energy in you. I know you can back it up. I know you can. Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, Ten of Cups. I'm willing to learn and reflect upon relationships and where they went wrong. I'm willing to heal. Why do I keep attracting the same shit? Okay, I just need you to take it a step further. Where are you attracting from? That seems to be the only real solution to what looks like a very straightforward problem. But I don't even know if it's a problem, honey. It's just a lesson. All right. I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Be well.